So the first reason when it comes to ankle mobility that we're going to look at will be the ligaments. Okay, so this will be an interesting lecture here on the ligaments of the ankle. Now, I've purposely left out a lot of ligaments. Usually, you would see a lot of different ones attaching all around the ankle. What we need to focus on are the small ligaments that are essentially here. So you got your fibula there, and then you've got the calcaneus. The first ligaments that we need to look at will be the lateral ligaments, so the anterior talo-fibular ligaments, or the ATFL. This is the most commonly injured ligament because it's on the very front side of the ankle. So whenever you go over on your ankle, this is usually grade 1 kind of tear. So if you get a grade 1 tear in terms of like which ligaments you're targeting, it will be the ATFL that goes first, because the movement is a lot easier to kind of create that injury there. You know, kind of when the foot goes inwards into that inversion and excessive inversion, and the ligament is not able to withstand the range of movement and the force that is also a part of the range of the movement that you're applying. This is when you get these injuries. So obviously different grades of the actual tear, a sprain or a partial tear or or a complete tear. Now the next ligament that I need to look at is the posterior body of the anterior talo-fibular ligament, so is the posterior talo-fibular ligament. This is usually the hardest ligament to injure, especially to tear. You have to drive the ankle in with a lot of force and not just like completely inwards, so that complete inversion. So imagine you're kind of the entire foot kind of moving in and really creating a lot of force for you to be able to really injure this and in that dorsiflex position. So when you're creating the inversion, when the foot goes inwards, it also needs to be in dorsiflexion, so you can essentially impact the posterior talo-fibular ligament, or the PTFL. And it's not as common as the CFL ligament, which is the calcaneofibular ligament, which is here. You need to do a lot of like a very forceful inversion movements, regardless if you've got like a dorsiflexion or plantar flexion kind of involved in there as well. This is going to be injured. Now let's continue with the ligaments. Like we said, we've got tibio-navicular, which connects the tibia to the navicular bone, which is this. We've got the anterior tibio-talar, which connects the tibia to the talus bone here. So you can see where it just ends here. So this is the talus, this is the navicular, okay? And then if you move that around before we get to this one in the middle, we've got the posterior tibio-talar. So just like with the ATFL and the PTFL, we've got the PTT ligament here, and we've got the ATT ligaments on the front if you want to abbreviate these ligaments. So posterior tibio-talar, which connects the tibia to the back of the talus bone and its body, the anterior part. And finally, we've got the tibio-calcaneal ligament, which is the one on the side, which is essentially the replica of the calcaneofibular ligament on the other side. You can just imagine what kind of movements would create an injury here. So again, eversion plus plantar flexion when the foot hits the ground and the toes are facing out. For the anterior tibio-talar ligaments, the same goes for tibio-navicular with eversion as well. And for the posterior tibio-talar ligaments, it will be dorsiflexion, but again, eversion as well. Now, the reason why I want to focus on those ligaments, and this could be one of the reasons for lack of ankle mobility, is post-ligament injuries to the ankle. So what happens after you've had a ligament injury, especially if you've had them like on the ATFL ligament here. Now, usually what happens after these type of injuries is scar tissue builds up. The problem with scar tissue is that it doesn't really have any elasticity. It stays there and it builds up until the body thinks the ligament is healed, okay? It can be very overprotective, which means that these ligaments will become a lot bulkier. There will be structures that build on top of them, around them, which could feel like bone. So sometimes you touch around the ankle and you feel like you've got these like little bubbles of bone, which are actually could potentially be scar tissue and other kind of adhesions that are creating around the ligaments to try and protect them. And with time, they become like so thick and so hard that they resemble bone. And this is what could limit the movements of the ankle here, and this is very interesting. So it can happen all around these ligaments, and this is why when you get ankle injuries, ankle ligament injuries, it's very important to not immobilize the ankle for a long time and try to get back to some movements as quick as possible. I've personally been in a cast, for my ankle when I was very young, and I'm still feeling the repercussions of that because I spent, nearly 3 months without moving my ankle, which is very, very bad. Even for a full tear of these ligaments, this is very bad because, the ankle remembers a certain position. It essentially loses dorsiflexion, and it loses the kind of any strength, obviously, as well, but the movement is gone. And all the scar tissue that's built up in the ankle is essentially kind of still torturing me to this day because it's become like, like fossilized, basically. It's become like bone.